mental health activity known as VENT. Vent, a vertical of Richie Knows. Community-driven mental health solutions by gamers for gamers. Destigmatizing mental health. It's your brain. Delete the dread from your head. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Mental health affects us all. We are Vent. No judgment. No judgment. We got ya.
My name is Jonathan Bautista.
My name is Kitty. I go by Kitty Kaboom online.
I'm Stefan Lopazansky.
Oliver Boone.
Micah Greenleaf.
Ryder Davis.
My name is Kim.
Elijah.
Amanda.
Devonta. Derek.
Cyan.
Alan.
Andrew Forbes.
My name is Sherry Nan.
And I have struggled with mental health.
My earliest notions of paranoia came up in high school.
My anger, my frustration, it finally starts chipping away at you to one point where you do get kind of down. I suffer with anxiety currently, loneliness,
Isolation.
delusions.
Bullying.
Sadness. Fear.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
I've been struggling with depression my whole life.
Still didn't know how to handle it.
When you get under that, it's really hard to get out of it.
Depression is like a shadow, and some days there might be overcast or you might not be able to see your shadow and you think that your depression's gone, and then when the sun comes back out, your shadow's right there and it always will be with you.
I feel like gaming is a good way to get yourself out of that.
Just talking to them and finding peers that had similar mentality and similar interests.
It's very warm and very welcoming.
That was a huge help.
I'm so happy I have a community.
You know, I think that's like the best form of therapy, just talking to
You talk it all out, and it really helps. It really does.
Introducing Vent, a safe, supportive space from Richie Knows. We connect gamers.
Hey everybody, and once again, welcome to Vent, your safe space to talk, listen, and connect with other gamers about what's going on in your life and what's going on in here. Or in here, I guess, depending on which way you look at it. Basically, whether you are actively stressing or just feel like decompressing, the next 30 minutes are for you. Now, as always, throughout this Overheard stream, we want you to feel comfortable in sharing your own experiences, asking questions, or offering your support. We have a lot of different ways you can do so. We've got Reddit, we've got Twitch, we've got Discord and Twitter. So it really throw any comments, any questions you have up there. Our guests tonight and our event team are always open for the conversation. And like I said, we're here for you, so we really want you to get involved. For those of you who didn't see last week's episode, my name is Sophie, and on tonight's Overheard, you are going to meet Corey and Patrice. They are an awesome couple. They've been together for 11 years. They are both super stoked to have a 13-year-old son who is now playing the exact same games that they do. That includes 2K to Tekken. But being a family that games together also comes with its fair share of challenges. And that's exactly what you're going to hear them talk about tonight. That's kind of the vibe of Overheards. But I will say that after that quick clip, we're going to have them both back on so we can dive a little deeper into Corey and Patrice's journey. And I will say, even from the little that I already know, it is a story of survival. These are two people who have been through adversity together, and they've come out on the other side together in a really incredible way. So without further ado, let's listen in on Corey and Patrice.
So I'm excited, finally. I got my little man to start gaming with me.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest things I've been wanting to do for the longest, because I game, right? And, you know, getting into the esports realm. And I know he was like really big on gaming, but not really playing all of the same games I played.
He's playing the same games you like now. Yeah, I mean, and it is really exciting. It's a lot of fun, you know. I think we definitely want to just make sure we're attentive to, you know, like the stress and all of that, making sure he has a good balance with school, because it could easily get, you know, out of whack.
I think that we have that balance. It goes great together. And there's other times where, you know, he wants to impress his friends in the game of peace, right? So sometimes we fall short on making sure, hey, did you do your homework? Or absolutely.
But you should see his face, like he brightens up and he gets so excited when, you know, my dad is a gamer and I get to do it with him. And, you know, and it's great to see that happiness and that, you know, just joy in his eyes, you know what I mean? And I'm proud of you for, being a great example for him and just encouraging him to, go after his dreams, go after his goals, but still, again, remember to keep school a priority because he is young,
Absolutely. I think, too, for me, changing the stigma on gaming. A lot of parents think gaming is bad, and in actuality, it isn't when you have the right dosage of it, right? And when you can monitor the gaming and teach them certain things, or even just educate the parents on gaming. I think that is the most important part to being successful as a parent and being successful as a parent with a gaming child. And I think that's our way too of being able to just talk freely and openly, you know what I mean? Because he's in a comfortable state. And gaming gives you that comfortable state, you know what I mean? It's just, we're able to have those building blocks together. That's what I try to,
educational too.
Absolutely, and I try to teach them that too. Like, even though we have fun in the game, there's always the teaching moments in the game, right? There's the teamwork, the communication piece. Those things are important in life as well. So it's kind of cool to be able to do that,
Good job.
So, thanks, appreciate it.
Corey and Patrice, everybody. I am super stoked to be hanging out with them tonight. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi. Hello.
How are y'all doing tonight?
Good. Can't complain.
Good. Well, super happy that you guys chose to sit down with us and have a coffee and talk a little bit about your family of gamers. Equally as stoked to have you on the show tonight. Starting with the gaming question, I guess. What kind of games do y'all play together as a family?
Let you start.
Call of Duty definitely is one of them. Tekken, 2K, Fortnite, Apex.
I'll admit, I quit playing 2K because he beats me too bad. So I don't play with him anymore.
But to be fair, she actually beat me in a game, so it's not that twice. But yeah, those are the games we usually play. I even we even go back to the retro gaming, like the Pac-Man and the Mario, Crazy Taxi, so there's so many. I mean, like I grew up on gaming, so that's just me. That's my life. I love it.
Patrice, when I first talked to Corey a few days ago to make sure you guys could come on tonight, he said that you sometimes don't always classify yourself as a gamer. And he was like, but she's a gamer. Like, don't let her say otherwise. Do you consider yourself a gamer?
I don't.
Are you a shark where you're just pretending you're not a gamer and then you like destroy people?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty bad.
Yes.
Like, so for me, like you said, he's always been the one to game and the kids. So I'll be like, well, how do you do this? Or I'm coaching on the side, or I'm like, you should try that, or you should do this. And he goes, you know what? Since you coach so good, pick up a controller, join us. And so he'll make me play and learn to play. And the next thing you know, I'm like, oh, let's play. Are we gonna play tonight? So yeah, I guess I'm kind of in the shadows.
We've already got a question, someone wanting to know if it gets competitive within the family. Does it ever get a little tense, or is it all
never?
Yes. Yeah, we go out, especially if we're playing like a team deathmatch or something where you're responsible essentially for yourself. So we'll go out and see who can get the most kills on the team, things like that. It's very competitive. Yes. But it's fun, at the same time. We never forget that it's a video game and it's fun. This is our way of, bonding time, stress relief, things like that. So we kind of keep it on the fun, but it's also very competitive at the same time.
That's awesome. I loved hearing you mention destigmatizing video games for families and parents. I think that's awesome. What advice would y'all give parents? You talked about balance, both in, let's say, how often they play or monitoring their games. And it seems like you guys kind of like have a game plan and are on the same page. What advice would you give to parents who are maybe newer to this and just now having a kid who they're like, oh crap, they're going to want to start playing games. What do I do?
I think one of the most important things is being on the same page. There has to be, consistency amongst both parents. Because if one parent is on one page and the other is on another, that child can essentially kind of play one parent against the other, or there's just a lot of miscommunication when it comes in, to that. So I think us being on the same page is key. That's number one. Two, just monitoring what is being played and how it's being played. Granted, everything's on the internet, so there's only so much monitoring you can do if you're allowing your child to play online. But with that being said, we play, with him, so we do a fairly good job monitoring that. And I think when he does play alone, he understands and knows what's good and what's bad. And that just goes with, building that trust as well, with your child. So
Yeah, that definitely seems like a magic word. Do you feel like the kind of duality of finding the balance, setting the rules for him, but then also realizing that you have to check yourself and follow your own rules? Because like you said, you've got a little person looking up to you. How does that impact your, I guess, mental health? Is that something that can be stressful at times? Or?
Yes and no. And I say yes only because, on those days where me personally, like if I just had a rough day, or I just need to just let it out and get on the game, that's considered the adult time, right? But when my son wants to play, I don't tell him no, because that is our time. And maybe him getting on the game, he just wants to talk. So I'll never tell him no. We can't get on and play together, depending on the time, obviously, and if he's done what he needs to do. But yeah, when those times come when I want it to be, by myself kinda, and he wants to play, yeah. But outside of that, no, because once I'm playing with him, like whatever it was that was bothering me before, that goes away, because this is my chance to build with him, and it's fun. We're learning, we're growing together, and we just happen to do it through, video games.
I will admit, I may not always play every day with them or, interact all the time, but on those days, like he was saying, where, he's just had a rough day, he just needs to get it out. I think that's when he gets the most competitive.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit, not much, just a little bit.
Every now and then the drill sergeant will come out.
You're like, oh, hard today.
Yeah, like he'll be playing the game, and all of a sudden it's, no, why didn't you go over there? I told you to do this. And I'm like, remember, it's just a game. So I kind of find myself, like, okay, it's all right. It's gonna be okay. He didn't mean it. Try again. So I think even that helps him, with trying to find that balance too, because sometimes I'll be in the other room and I'll peek in and I'll look and say, like, what are you guys doing? Or I'm making dinner, So, and again, I don't know, I guess I could be the enforcer of all the rules too. Did you get your homework done? Did you do your chores? Did you make your bed? Did you do all this? And then I'll ask him, like, did you take out the trash? Did you feed the dogs? So, and once everybody's done, yes, absolutely.
That's true.
It's really cool to hear you describe gaming as a tool, not just for yourself. And we just in talking to people throughout Richie Knows and Vent, gaming obviously is a tool for people to decompress or, do whatever they need for their mental health, but also a tool for quality time. If you want to give your son a chance to talk to you, you don't have to sit down and say, hey son, what's on your mind? And kids clam up. You can say, let's play a game. And that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I think that's great. A good thing to do too. Just that piece of family time. Everything is built on technology now, so gaming is very, very big, and it's going to continue to grow. So I think that's just just that added bonus to be able to have that family time through gaming.
That's awesome. I know, Corey, when I first asked a little bit of background information about you and Patrice, you mentioned you guys have been together for 11 years. Yeah. I'm a little curious if you wouldn't mind kind of going back, rewinding a little bit and telling me and everyone watching a bit more about yourself and the journey that kind of brought you to where you are today with a beautiful wife and a lovely son.
Okay. The journey. So I was actually living in New York City. I was actually doing security for Jay-Z at the time. And I had just, got in, out of a relationship that was really, really rocky. So at this time, I was, I didn't really have family in New York City. I had a few select friends that I worked with, but no real family in Queens, because that's where I was at. And my niece back in Syracuse, we were really, really close. And I had called her one day and was like, I know you got some friends. I know you got some female friends I can actually just talk to. I need a female friend I could talk to. Nothing more, nothing. And she was like, oh, Uncle, I got one for you. Don't worry, I got you. So I was like, okay. So she sent me a picture. She told me her name. And I was like, okay, give her my phone number, have her call me or text me or whatever. And, we can go from there. I'll do the rest. I'll introduce myself and things like that. So she did, and I never got the phone call. So I'm like, I was like, what happened? And she was like, I think she's scared to call you. I was like, okay, I'll call her then. I said, it's okay if I call her. So I actually sent a text message before I called. And it was something of the sort like, I said hello there and I introduced myself. It was just a cool introduction of who I was. And then I asked if it was okay to call, and I did. And the rest was kind of history with that piece. We talked, every day, which was cool. And it was just more so me just kind of venting and I just needed an ear. I was going through a lot, and I just really needed to talk to somebody. She was always there. She always listened. She was that ear. And that relationship grew, over the years. It was like 2-3 years, and we're just friends, and it grew. So I was like, you know what, let me make this trip back home so we could finally meet and say hello in person. And I did it. And it was the best thing. We've been great ever since. And
Welcome to the tutorials on Linux. This is first
of
the
few
18-part video series.
It was a few things that I had to go through that she was a part of. I had some back surgeries that went bad, and she was there. It was really, really bad. Couldn't walk. She was there. She never complained. She was just always that person that supported whatever it is I needed to do, be. She was just always there. And I knew, I was like, this person has made me a better person through that, so through those years, there was a lot of ups and downs and things like that, but she was just that person, that stone cold, I got your back, don't worry about it, we got this, we can make this work together, so it was awesome,
That's incredible.
That's where it leaves us here.
Question for, I guess, Jimmy and maybe you guys, Corey. I'm getting a little bit of
feedback. Yeah,
something. Do you think that might be like a window on y'all's computer? I'm checking mine to make sure like there's not an ad playing somewhere.
So,
is that it?
I think it fixed it. There it goes. Are we there?
Hey.
All righty. Okay.
Check my PG over
yes,
here.
we're back. So, but yeah, it was a great thing once I made that trip, back home.
So she's been your rock from the beginning.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Do you feel like you realized that when you guys first met and started to talk? Or you?
I had no idea. I mean, like you said, we definitely started off as just friends, and we would just talk on the phone. And I mean, I think for me, I just, my mom tells me I have a big heart and I'm a softie. So I felt like it was really important just for me to like listen and just to be there for him. Like, again, I didn't want anything from him. I wasn't, oh, I need a relationship. It was never even that. It was more just, he's been through a lot, and, I need him to know that he's doing a great job, and just to encourage him and tell him to keep going, like not to give up, like whatever he wanted to do. Like I would always tell him, like, well, if you want to try this, let's try it. If you want to do that, okay, let's try it. And he would always look at me funny, and I'm going, what? Let's try it. Because, I feel like sometimes that's all that somebody really needs, is someone just to believe in them and to not give up on them and to just be that backbone and that support for them. And, and I would hope that somebody would do that in return, and that's who he is for me. So,
I think we definitely met that like missing piece for each other. And yeah, I didn't realize it at the beginning, but the more I'm with this one over here, he tells me all the time, and I'm like, really? I didn't know that. And I feel like I learn something new about him every day. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That certainly says a lot about your natural inclination to nurture and a loving individual. Corey, was that something for you that was new? Like when you met Patrice, do you feel like it was a breakthrough for you emotionally and mentally? Kind of walk me through, like, I guess a little bit about what you've been through. Patrice mentioned she knows that you've been through some things.
Yeah, it was 100% that breakthrough I needed. I went through 3 back surgeries and was on a lot of pain medicine, and I played professional ball overseas. So once that was cut short due to my back surgeries, depression kicked in. I was once the Superman of the household. I was able to do so much, and then just being knocked down to the point where I had nurses coming in and helping me get dressed or bathe myself and things like that. It was really, really depressing. And then to see my kids see it, it really took a dark turn, because I'm like, this is not me. But she was just always there. She never once gave up. She never let me give up on myself. And I think that's so important for many people that go through that, whether it's just your everyday life struggle, or if you went through a surgery or you lost your job. The mental piece is just having that support system. And she was there every single day. She drilled it. I'm here, I'm not going nowhere, we're gonna make it through this. And we did. It took some time, but we did. And it was new for me because I never had that. We have 2 totally different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
I grew up in the system, foster care, juvie. I even, had a little stint and had to go to prison. But, even after all of that, I was still able to come out, and be productive and make something of myself. So with that being said, she was there. She was that piece that just was like, I got you. We'll never have to look back. It happened, but moving forward, this is what we're gonna build. And it was just like, wow, like I like this, but it's still scary. Like, is it real? Because, like I said, I grew up in the streets, so when stuff like that seems so good to be true, it usually is, right? But in this sense, it really wasn't, because she had a great foundation installed in her before. Both of her parents are married, and they really are great. I love them to death. And they've helped me grow to be, a better, father, husband, and man all together. And it's great to have that, just to be able to have that. It's awesome.
Would you say that she kind of like cracked your shell a little bit? Like she had to kind of break you?
Yeah, she did. There's no denying that. Absolutely. And I fought it for a long time, because that was just me. And then, I was like, I had this image, like, I can't be the softy around here. But in reality, that's all I needed. I just needed someone that was sincere and really had my best interest and just understood where I was coming from.
What was that like to be so vulnerable in front of not just Patrice, but your son, like you mentioned, and to be in that state where you, as you said, you feel like you're not the you want to be, let's say. What kind of mental state did that put you in? It feels like you kind of had to, I don't want to say swallow your pride, but like you said, you're not at, you're at the mercy of everything else.
I was, I really, really was. Swallowing pride I couldn't even, it doesn't even amount to that. It was so, I was just hurt all the time, physically hurt, but also mentally hurt. Like, I can't chase my kids around. I can't pick them up. I can't, there was just so many can'ts. And it was hard. I couldn't be in the sun, when my daughter was cheerleading outside at a football game, because of the medicine I was on. I would get sick, and it was just really bad. And gaming, which is weird, that's where it kind of started. I mean, I gamed obviously when I was a kid, but I think I picked it back up even more once I was in this state, because gaming was my outlet. You know, that was my piece, that and music. And it just took off from there. You know, once I got to a place where I knew that she wasn't going to, you know, run off in the wind because I was down and out. It just, I got a little more comfortable, and then, you know, I was like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. I could do it. And it was just, you know, day by day, and, you know, slowly getting stronger. And there was lots of setbacks. You know, even now to this day, I still have them. But again, just knowing that somebody is there to help you along the way, and then people that, you know, she understands what's going on. It's just, it's a great thing. It really is. Now knowing, you know, what I have is a good thing.
I'll honestly say, I agree with what he said as far as picking up gaming during that time, because it's hard for someone who's so used to being active and being able to do, to all of a sudden they have to sit still to allow their body to recover. And that alone, I could see it like eating away at him, like, you know what I mean? Like his manhood, you know, just being a father, just being a provider. And it was really depressing for me to even see him in that state. And I almost felt helpless myself. Like there's nothing I can do but be there for him and encourage him. Like, don't give up, you know, you got to keep trying. And it was definitely tough. It was definitely difficult. And, you know, I would still like go to work, and I'd try to run home and check on him, and then I'd have to go back to work. And then I would, you know, come home on my lunches. I would call him on the phone and just sit, like have him on the phone with me, like while he would take a nap and stuff like that, you know. It was difficult, but we definitely made it through it. And the gaming piece though, I literally made him buy the game, because at first he didn't want it. He was like, no, I don't want it. I'm like, no, I need you to do something. And he's like, what do you mean I can't do anything? I said, you can game. And he's like, what? And he's like, what do you mean? And at first he laughed at it. And because I knew that he liked to play video games. So I actually encouraged him to get the game, and we bought the games, and I sat down and learned how to play with him, so that he wasn't just playing by himself. It wasn't a distraction, you know, like, oh, just do this while I go do this. I actually like would learn how to play these games with him. And that's honestly how I kind of got back into it, because I grew up on Nintendo, Mario, up, down, left, right, A, B. That's all I knew. That's all I knew. That's it. Okay. All these X, Ys, and L1s. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this. What do I do with this thing? So I think, you know, that's kind of how I even got introduced back into the gaming world after so many years. But it was because of him honestly being in that state, being in that depressive mode, that made me like, you know what, I got to do something to change this. And if that means taking out 1 or 2 hours of my day to play a video game with him, it puts a smile on his face. It's working. So that was really like what kind of got us gaming together.
Definitely did.
I mean, it also just sounds like you really did. You just showed up. You showed up every day, and you wrapped him in every bit of love and care that you possibly could, to where he couldn't escape it, even if you try.
That is the truth. Yes, 100%.
And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes that's what you need in that headspace. You need someone who will refuse to do anything other than love and support you.
That's her. Yes. That is definitely her. Yes.
It's incredible to have you on and to hear you guys say that too, because that's what we're trying to do here at Vent, is just be a continuous presence and place for love and support.
Yeah.
I would want to ask you a little bit more, Corey. I know, like you mentioned, Patrice, you mentioned like his manhood, and I want to kind of like go back to young you. When you were going through those hard times growing up in the foster system, dealing with spending time in jail, being such a young person, particularly in a time where mental health maybe wasn't as openly talked about, being a man, being a young Black man. Did you feel like all of those factors impacted the evolution of your mental health, and kind of like was there a space for you to kind of acknowledge your mental health?
It definitely affected me. Absolutely, 100%. did I have a chance to vent or speak about it or address it? Not like today, no. I think it was kind of one of those things that kind of like got brushed under the rug, or got some, some medicine might have been thrown at you, or it developed, for me, it developed into anger. I was just always angry, always upset, always mad, wanted to fight all the time. I felt like I was abandoned, things like that. So I had a lot of issues and, some closure that at that time I didn't get. And I was seeking it and I wanted it, but I was young, so I didn't really understand it. I just knew I was just always angry and I was mad and I wanted to know why. And as I got older, it kind of got worse in my, as a teenager, young teenager, my anger issues kind of got, there's no kind of, it did, it got worse. It definitely did. And then as a, an adult, it was still there in my, my early stages of adulthood. But I knew signs and I knew I wanted to be better and I wanted to do better. So I took the steps to address it. It was not overnight. It took a long time.
What were some of those steps?
Huh? I'm sorry.
What were some of those steps?
Some of the steps. Keeping my mouth closed, not arguing back with, somebody from disagreeing, or just not putting myself in certain situations that I used to, and not hanging with the same crowd. Those, I had to do the change of people, places, and things. That was the only thing for me that was going to make a difference in, I guess, getting better. You know what I mean? Because if I wasn't around that type of environment, I had a chance to actually think and kind of do some self-reflection. And I think that's really important, for me to figure out where I went wrong or what I was doing, or, who I was around and did they really have my best interests at heart? Those type of things. But, like I said, once I ended up meeting Patrice, it was just like, man, life really changed. It was, I wasn't so angry anymore, and when I did have those spurts and those moments, she helped me voice it and talk about it. I was never a talker. Listen, I hated talking. I'm mad. Leave me alone. Don't want to talk about nothing. But, with her, she just helped me voice that. And we sat down and we talked, and I felt weird. Like, this is is this what, for me, I'm like, this is what normal people do? Right? That was the way I looked at it. And I was like, okay, this is not me. But in reality, it's so healthy. Being able to just really voice and speak about what's going on upstairs is really, really important. And she was that person for me. And I, to this day, I continuously will always tell her, I owe you so much. I can't say thank you enough. You've helped me reach, these places I never thought was possible. We just continue to grow every day. And for me, that's what I want to hand down to my son. I want him to see that. He's seeing it in its reality for him. It's not something you're watching on TV, but he gets to live it every day. And I think that's so important because I didn't have that. So, I always said I made it my duty to make sure that whatever I didn't have and what I went through, he would never go through. I don't want to make life easy for him, but I will make sure he will never have to experience what I did, and know that there's always somebody here to listen to you. This is a judgment-free zone, and I think people need to understand that when they're having those conversations, that's number one, judgment-free. Be you. No matter what's going on, we're not judging you. No matter what, let's talk about it. And, we'll figure it out together. A lot of people need that to figure it out together, But for me, that's what I needed, and I got it.
That's incredible. It's cool to hear too, you explain late teens into early 20s and the progress you were making going through all of that. Yeah. Like kind of finding that blend of strength and inner sensitivity to what you were dealing with, but doing it in a bubble just with yourself is different. It doesn't, you still end up bottling it up. And clearly you were still realized like, all right, I'm going to change things. So you reached a new level of okayness. But then when Patrice came into your life, it was like,
yeah, it really was though.
You're like, wait, this is where I wanted to be.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. It's just a great feeling because I continuously look back from where I came from, before she got to the picture. And, when I reflect now, it's like, wow, you changed my life. Like it's a great feeling. And, for the gaming industry, for anybody that's going through, the mental health stage, man, just know that there's people here for you always. There's somebody there that's willing to listen and work it out with you. You're never in this alone. And that's what I thought I was. I was in it by myself, but I wasn't. Just had to find the right person.
That's
willing to
awesome.
listen. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we've got a few questions from our viewers.
All right.
The first one is, I think people are just really loving on the two of you guys. Y'all really are, just like role models. You're role models for your son, but I think you're role models for me and people watching too. So we've got, can each of you tell the other how you feel about each other? Is there anything you want to say in front?
So I'll let you go first.
I'm a waterhead. You gotta go first.
So we do. We continuously. For me, I always tell her how I feel. All day long. It's I love you. So beautiful. And I mean it from my heart because every day, all day. Yes. Maybe I might miss an hour or two, but
just know he's thinking. He's always thinking.
I do, and I continuously say it because it means so much to me that where she's brought me from, and I always say that to her to let her know that I appreciate her, and I think that is so important to let that other individual know you appreciate them, not just by words, but by actions as well. But hearing it does just give you that feeling, that breath of fresh air, that a little bit of butterflies in your stomach, even after this amount of time. For me, yes, absolutely.
So I'll tell everyone a secret.
I'm gonna give you the added challenge of looking at Corey when you tell
him. I promise you, I am a waterhead, so I'm gonna try to do this without crying.
Don't worry, I got it covered, John. Got you covered.
Well, I know I tell you all the time that, I'm proud of you and the progress that you made, and I've definitely seen you grow. And ever since day one, I've always told you that you're a great father, and I know that was a big concern for you. You never wanted to be, the type of father that you had, or, the type of parents that you had. And, I feel like I kind of adopted you into my family, we share mom and dad and sisters and aunties, and he's got a whole new family, guys. But I'm really, really proud of you for not giving up. And even those days where it was hard and you felt like you couldn't get out of bed, or those days where you just wanted to give up. And even the days where you felt like, I'm losing it. And you would even you turn to me sometimes, you'd ask me am I losing my mind? Am I losing it? And I'd be like, no, I'm right here with you. We got this. We're going to make it, and I'm just proud of you for not giving up. Because I can tell you all day, but it really takes that strength within you to do it. And you did it. You actually did that. And, I know you give me credit, but I have to give you credit for actually stepping up and facing those challenges and, facing those demons in your mind and, your past and everything else that was haunting you more so. And even just coming up out of all these surgeries and everything like that. And okay, I'm going to stop because I'm going to cry now. So yeah, I love you a lot and I'm proud of you.
I love it too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's beautiful. Why do you think it makes you emotional to say things like that?
I cry all the time. You don't understand. I can watch a movie and I'll cry. But I think it's because when it's coming from the heart and you just know this is really how I feel, I just get emotional. And he doesn't like to see me cry. So if I'm upset and I'm crying, he's like always trying to make me laugh. So and I'm like, no, stop. I'm trying to have a sad moment. And he hates it. But I think it's, for me, I know that, when I tell him that I love him, I really mean it sincerely. And it's a touching moment for me. And, I just, God forbid anything were to happen, I know that he knows that I love him with all my heart. So that's one thing he could never say that he didn't know.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to be able to be your true selves around each other, to feel like what you're saying to each other is so true. That's incredible. A quote that I really like is the phrase "suffer into truth," and it feels like it really resonates with y'all's story, the struggles that you've been through, but like you found the truest versions of each other. You found true love. You've like suffered into your own truths, and that's a really, really beautiful thing. All right, we've got one last question, and this one is a fun one, so we don't make Patrice cry anymore. This one comes from Billy W. Is Jay-Z a gamer?
No. Nah.
He might have bought one or two.
Definitely not. Not in the least way. Nope, absolutely not.
If he was a gamer, what game would he play?
If he was a gamer, nah, he would probably. If he was a gamer, he might play 2K.
Yeah.
He would be a 2K individual if he played video games. That's where I see him at. His personality, lifestyle, things like that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. Like I said, it was really incredible to not only have you sit down and open up during the Overheard taping, but to have you guys back on the show. Corey, I know you were thanking us earlier for having you on and doing all of this, but really all of the gratitude goes to you guys. I really do appreciate what you're doing for the gaming community and just for the future of everyone's mental health. It's really incredible.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the time and just me to be able to share with the world, you can make it through, and I think it's so important for somebody to see an individual who really went through a lot, tough times, and didn't think they would make it out, to be able to flourish and to make it out. So for those who are watching or wondering if it can happen, it can.
That's awesome.
Don't give up.
That's awesome. Don't give up. Know that we've all got your back. Know that you can always hop on to Vent. Yes. And in addition to always being here and the different content that we have, if you go on to Richie Knows, you will also see a lot of resources that we have available from NAMI Westside Los Angeles, partner that we're very grateful to have with us. But all sort of resources where gamers can reach out for all different kinds of help. And again, like we said, we're always here for you. NAMI Westside Los Angeles is always here for you. And as always, thanks again for hanging out with us. Absolutely. And tuning in.
It was awesome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Night, everybody. See you on potentially Discord or Twitch afterward if you want to continue the conversation.
Alrighty, I'll be there. Bye-bye.